May I start? Very good morning to all. Today, on the fourth day of presentation on Indian and Western criticism, I am going to make my presentation on a comparative study of Bharat's Natyashatra and Aristotle's Poetics. These are my personal details, and these are the points that I'm going to discuss in the presentation. Let's first begin with the introduction. Indian literary criticism has always been rich in its tradition, and Natya Shastra is one of the most important example of it because Natya Shastra is considered as the earliest work of criticism or poetics available in literature. Natya means play or drama or act, which generally deals with the theatrical arts. So Bharat was the first who tries various ideas related to theatrical arts. Bharat Muni is also considered as father of Indian performative art. In Natya Shastra, he explores the fields related to the performing art. Sorry, it is mistake. Aristotle, in comparison of him, Aristotle is a Greek philosopher who also tries to explore his ideas related to play in his work, The Poetics, around 335 BC. Now, what is Natya Shastra and Poetics? Natya Shastra is a principal work of performance art theory encompassing dance and music, which is divided in 36 adhyayas. As I have took the reference where 36 adhyayas are there, but there is a kind of dispute regarding is there 36 or 37 adhyay in this work Natya Shastra. This On the other side, Poetics is a work of Greek dramatic theory. Classical Indian concept of the drama, including dance, music, poetics, and general aesthetics. It also deals with origin of poetics, definition of drama, prosody, rasas, and bhavas, and many other things like how the construction of the theater and related to that. The poetics is the series of notes that Aristotle would have used when he lectured. It is a forms of it deals with the ideas of forms of poetry, comedy, tragedy, and epic. Now, what are the difference and similarities between Natya Shastra and Poetics? Natya Shastra is considered as first treatise in Sanskrit literature or in world literature on drama or Natya, whereas Poetics is a first treatise in Greek literature on poetics. Natya Shastra deals with the origin of the dramatic techniques, which deals with the overall performance, overall form of drama and performative art, whereas the Poetics by Aristotle only deals with poetics, not overall form of drama. In Natya Shastra, there is a theory of anukarana means imitation, and on the other hand, there is mimesis described by Aristotle, which also means imitation. In both the works, it is described that there is harmony of music, then acting, dance, and all the things which makes impact on which make theatrical performances impactful. I have forgot to mention here in poetics. Sorry, it is here. In Natya Shastra, there are rasas. Eight main rasas are there, whereas Aristotle only talks about comedy and tragedy, where he talks about catharsis, which means purgation. Uh, the most striking similarity in poetics and Natya Shastra is when both the author try to drive the effect of drama on the audience. So the most and first similarities between the Natya Shastra and the poetics, it is that both tries to derive a kind of impact of drama on the audience. Now let's try to look at rasa theory and ras theory and catharsis. In chapter 6 of Natyashatra, Bharat talks about ras theory, readers which deals with readers total emotional response to the text, and which also talks about dominant emotion of the work. uh, a work of art is artistic only when it evokes the experience of rasa. So in any literary work there should be one not literary art but performative art, there should be one dominant ras or emotions uh, which make audience connected with the art. There are eight main rasas as Bharat described in the chapter number 6 of Natya Shastra. Shungaradi Bhavet Hasyo Rodracha Karuno Rasah Viroche Vada Bhutotpati Bibhatsacha Bhayanaka. It describes Shungar, uh, हास्य रौद्र करुण वीर अद्भुत बिभत्स and bhayanak. Eight rasas are there. And how this nishpatti is possible, so he gives another slow another uh, in another shlok he gives this how this ras nishpatti is being done. So in the same chapter he says vibhavanubhav vyabhichari sanyogat ras nishpatti. Vibhav anubhav vyabhichari bhav and sanchari bhav, when three are being combined, and when something is happen out of that, that is called ras nishpatti. And this ras nishpatti is also can be seen in Aristotle's words, like Vibhav, when characters feel that character is not himself, but he becomes what is being performed by the character. So that is Vibhav, and Anubhav is imitation of action. That's what Aristotle says about the when he talks about tragedy and definition of tragedy. There is also change of fortune described by Aristotle, which deals with anubhav reaction, and out of that this ras nishpatti happens. uh, this leads exposition of same emotion between the reader and the character, and a reader or a observer or observer of the art, literary art, tries to imitate the emotions which is expressed by the character himself. Whereas Aristotle talks about only comic and tragic emotions, he does not. He didn't deal with the ideas which are described by Bharat Muni in Natya Shastra, where Bharat Muni talks about all eight rasas in his work. In Aristotle, there are two main emotions are there: comic and tragic. Comedy is an imitation of characters of a lower type. A comic mask is ugly and distorted, but does not imply any kind of a pain. Whereas in in the Poetics, Aristotle uses a word catharsis, which means purgation or purification of the emotions such as pity and fear, primarily through the art. He talks about tragedy. Tragedy is an imitation of an action that is serious, complete, and of a certain magnitude, through which pity and fear affecting the proper purgation of this emotion. Now, pity means karundras, which is described by Bharat in his Natya Shastra. It can also be seen here, and fear is also seen here. Now this is the response which is generated by chat gpt, and these responses are very much connected to what I have asked to that, and it gave me similarities and differences, and also a kind of description of what is Nati Shastra and Aristotle Poetics. Like he describes that Both works were written over 2000 years ago and are still studied and debated by scholars today. While Natyashastra was written in ancient in India and Poetics in ancient Greece, they both offer insights into the nature of drama, the role of the artist, and the relationships between art and society. It gives me some similarities, like both works define the purpose of drama as being to imitate human action. Both discusses the importance of plot, character, and language in drama, emphasize the role of the artist in creating and shaping the drama, and a relation between drama and society, which is, I think, this last point is not very much clear in both the works. Now, these are the differences. Like Natya Shastra is focused primarily on dance and drama, while Poetics deals specifically with tragedy. And this is so because Aristotle talks about the overall poetics a lot, but in that he gives major impact on what is tragedy and how this the plot and other things related to tragedy can be seen and can be created. Natya Shastra places a greater emphasis on the spiritual and religious aspect of drama, while poetics is more concerned with the aesthetics of tragedy. The Natya Shastra has a more elaborate system for categorizing characters and emotions, while poetics focus on more on cathartic effect of tragedy. The Natya Shastra has a more detailed discussion of the technical aspect of the performance, while poetics is more focused on the literary and philosophical aspects of the drama. So this response is very quite reliable, though some points are quite confusing, but a good response I got from ChatGPT. So, to conclude, I would say that lots of similarities as well as differences are there in Natya Shastra as well as in the Poetics by Aristotle. Bharat's Natya Shastra remains rich in overall performative art, whereas Aristotle gives a keen observation to imitation and tragedy. So, in their respective field, both are have a kind of richness in their own. The main goal of both this work is understanding and appreciation of performative arts. These are the works which I have cited in my presentation. Thank you. Now I'm open for questions.
Shali, how do Bharat's Natya Shastra define relationship to the audience?
Yes, when Bharat talks about eight rasas, he describes that when a particular character is performing when any kind of work of art is being performed or read, a reader tries to imitate those actions, try to feel that emotions, and through that the reader or the observer compares himself with the work of art. So this is how the relationship between the audience and the work of art is being defined by Bharat in his Natya Shastra.
Tushali, what you like most in Aristotle poetry and Bharat's Natya Shastra?
What do you like? Yeah, in the one thing that I like the most in both this work is that uh, uh, Bharat's Natya Shastra is talking about all the aspects of Natya Kala, where he talks about rasas and creating how to create drama, origin of the drama, and all that things. In which the rasas are most important things, because he tells that goes beyond the six rasas which is given by God or the nature. So he describes eight rasas, and on the other side, Aristotle talks about how tragedy is being done and how this influence of tragedy comes out. Sorry, how tragedy comes out and which leads a person to have a kind of a purgation, that when a reader reads or sees something like similar to them, he feel kind of a purgation, purification, and try to connect with those, and he comes out as a pure person. So this is all about. Thank you.